gonna get started tonight in child's pose. So come to your mat, bring your knees out wide, toe tips to touch, and then you'll just crawl your fingertips forward. Since we're in a restorative class tonight, we're gonna try to get your forehead and chest down to the mat. If that's not accessible to you, you can grab onto any kind of props you have accessible. So any pillows, a block, blanket, anything you can. You wanna have your forehead touch down on something. And then to make it more of a passive posture, you'll just rest your forearms down on the mat. So once you've come into a comfortable position, just start to roll your shoulders down your back and settle in here. Each pose is going to be held for about 3 to 6 minutes, and I'll let you know when we're halfway through each posture so that if you need to make any modifications or adjustments, you can do that. The goal in restorative is to try to be as still as you can, just to allow for some deep opening and deep stretch. So typically after you've held something for a few minutes, you'll want to fidget, your mind might start wandering. Try to bring that back to your mat. We'll just take a deep breath in here. And a big open mouth sigh out, let something go. And as you ground down in your child's pose, just start to think of your week and something that you can call upon that was something that brought you some joy or gratitude for something in your week. So just something good. It may seem hard to find, but even if you focus on the little things like a warm cup of coffee or you were able to spend some time outdoors, just really tuning into that. And while you're here, the goal of tonight's class is just to allow yourself to open up and also release and let go so that you can restore back to a good state of being and get set up properly for your week. Allow your hips sink down to your heels. Just focus on your breath. Already halfway through this child's pose. You need to stretch out your lats. You can always crawl your fingertips towards one side of the mat just to get a great side body stretch on one side. And then you can move to the other. If you are craving stillness, you can stay where you're at. Again, this is your class. So find what you need. And most often when we're in restorative, it may seem that you're not doing a ton because you're either laying, sitting, gently stretching and opening. But this practice is actually a lot more challenging for most of us because we can't stay still. We tend to let our mind wander and fidget, and being still and opening up is really hard for us to do. So just tune in. And your next exhale, can you just melt a little bit more into the mat? Just allow yourself to soften a little bit, maybe relaxing your face muscles. Just allowing your body to fully relax on your mat. This is your time this evening to wind down, to undo. I spent the last 2 days outside trying to tame all the weeds in our yard. And so I was actually really excited about restorative tonight, just to be able to undo some of that and to get back to a neutral state of sorts. One more deep breath in here. A full open mouth, sigh out, let something go. And your next inhale, slowly make your way up and come to a seated position. Extend your right leg out to the side and bring your left foot in towards your inner thigh and shift your weight towards your right leg. And this is where you might want some props to stack up. So if you have pillows or blocks, you can even actually take a blanket and position it underneath your seat to help elevate your seat and tilt your spine a little bit. But wherever you feel comfortable, you can bring your prop to. On your inhale, raise your arms up, take your gaze up, and then start reaching towards your toes. And once you feel your spine start to round, or maybe it rounds right away, just allow yourself to fold heavy here. And this is where you might need a couple different props to place your forehead on something, especially if you've got really tight hamstrings like I do right now. You might need a little bit more elevation, but just meet yourself where you're at. And as we open up here, you will find that you will get deeper into this pose. So just accept where you are right now. Allow your head and neck to hang heavy wherever you're at. And can you just soften a little bit? Use your breath here, especially if you've got a tight lower back, tight hamstrings. This might be a lot right now, but just breathe into it. Use your breath to help you get in a little bit deeper. And can you continue to soften with every exhale? Just imagine that you're just going a little bit deeper. And meet yourself where you're at tonight. You know your body the best, and each night is going to be a little bit different. So you may have tried this the other day and been able to get further, and perhaps now you're a little bit tighter. Just accept where you're at. We haven't moved that much yet. Just see where you can soften. We're about halfway through this side. So since we've been hanging out here for a few minutes, you may find that you can get a little bit deeper. And that might mean removing one of your props or just allowing yourself to fold a little bit more. And if you're fine where you're at, or you actually need to back off, just listen to your body. But the reason we hold these poses for so long is to get into the deep connective tissue. And typically we don't hold stretches for this long to allow for that great opening. And so we walk around super tight all day. And we really don't undo that work. So just really use your breath. Know that you're doing so much for yourself right now, just by being still. As you exhale, just release a little bit more. Imagine that you're just sinking more into the earth. And use your breath to guide you as you continue to open up in your hamstring and low back. And if you have a lot of tension in your upper back and shoulder area just from holding you up, see where you can relax. 2 more rounds of breath here, taking in what you still need, letting something go that you don't. Very slowly on your next inhale, start to make your way up. You just want to move your prop to the side. And since we were in that forward fold for so long, I recommend bringing your feet to the floor and just taking a quick windshield wiper from side to side just to loosen up your low back. And when you're ready, we're just going to take that on the other side. Swap that out here by extending your left leg long, bringing your right foot into your inner thigh. Grabbing onto your prop. And then you'll just want to shift your torso so you're facing your left toes. Inhale, take your gaze up, your arms up. Exhale, start to reach forward. And again, once you feel that you are starting to round your spine, just allow yourself to fall forward, trying to find a connection to something with your forehead. Closing your eyes if you have gotten to a comfy shape. And each side's gonna feel a little bit different, so you might need additional props on this side, or perhaps you don't need any props if you're more open on this side. So just accept what is. We're halfway through this side already. Just see where you can continue to soften. If you've held on to some tension in your face, see if you can relax your jaw a little bit. Perhaps you roll your shoulders down your back, or just allow yourself to fold even deeper. If your mind has started to wander already in class, just see where you can bring it back. Sometimes focusing on your breath does help ground you and keep you here. Paying attention to what's going on around you, the sensations in your body, the sound of the music or my voice. Just using those things to bring you back to this space on your mat. every exhale, can you just imagine that you're releasing something, letting something go? You use that to just fold even deeper, get closer to the earth. Imagine your forehead can touch your shin. Try and get anywhere near mine right now, but just picture that. Take a deep breath in. A big open mouth, sigh out, let something go. Your next inhale, just slowly start to make your way out. Again, might feel good to windshield wiper your legs just to loosen up your spine. And we're gonna take one more seated forward fold towards the center. So you can extend your legs wide out to either side. You can also bring them close together in center if you prefer that variation. And then I do recommend grabbing onto a couple props so that you can place your forehead down on something. So maybe you didn't use props earlier, but this will just allow you to hang heavy here in this forward fold. And just get into this a little bit deeper. You might want to just place one hand in front of you and one hand behind. You can lift yourself up, scoot forward just a few inches. And then when you're ready, inhale, take your arms up, your gaze up. Exhale, start to shift your weight forward. Reach towards the front of the space as much as you can before you fold forward. And again, your forehead wants to find something. So just if you need a couple blocks or props to put your forehead on, just find those. A blanket underneath your seat might feel good just to give you a tilt enough to get into the fold a little bit deeper. So your choice there as well. Forward folds are so great for resetting our parasympathetic nervous system. So if you've been especially anxious or stressed out lately, forward folds are a really great tool for you. And they also really help open up our low back and our hamstrings. And for me, especially, I've been super tight in my hamstring area and my low back has been suffering from that. So these are really good for a host of things, but we're spending extra time here just to really loosen up, open up. And I promise after this one, we are done with seated forward fold. So if that makes you happy. We're already halfway through. So try not to fidget, but if you can get deeper into it and want to lower your prop, you certainly can do that, but try to stay still. On your exhale, can you just sink a little bit more into the ground? And again, relax your face, release any tension. Perhaps you're furrowing your eyebrows or clenching your jaw. Just see where you can relax and release. We also tend to shallow breathe when we're stressed out or focused on a bunch of different stuff. So see if you can use your belly to really expand on your inhales, your deep breathing. More deep rounds of breath here. Try something out, let it go. And your next inhale, slowly start to make your way out. Again, we did a lot of forward folding here, so recommend bringing your feet in, windshield wiper from side to side, just loosen up your low back. When you're ready, we're gonna make our way down to our belly. Just find whatever shape you can on your belly. Your chin will come to the mat. You'll go post your arms out. Your legs will be extended long behind you. Inhale, start to bring your left knee in towards your left shoulder, your left elbow, I should say. And then you'll ground your right toes into the mat, lift your hips off of the mat and walk your toes just a little bit more towards the right, just to open up a little bit more for half frog. So once you've found a good shape with your low body, you can take your gaze to either side. So if you'd like, you can take your gaze towards your left palm. If you want a full spinal twist, you can take your gaze to your right palm. This is completely up to you and what feels good on your neck. And you might want to switch it out halfway through, and I will let you know when we're halfway through this posture. Frog is really good to start to open up in our hip area. So we tend to hold a lot of stress and tension in our hips, and typically if you've got tight hips, you will have pain in other parts of your body, especially in the shoulder, neck area. So one hip will always be tighter than the other. We're not completely even. And so one side might be a little bit more challenging for you tonight than the other. But as you're laying here, just see where you can let something go. Hip openers typically bring up a lot of emotion for us. So if stuff's coming up for you, just allow and release. And also just keep using your breath and sending it to any areas that are a little bit more tight. If you have not already, close your eyes and just use your breath here. We're halfway through, so if you want to change the direction of your gaze, you can switch your gaze to the other side of your mat if you'd like. If you are comfortable where you're at, just stay there. see where you can continue to soften. Your mind is wandering or thinking about your upcoming week, just let it go. Really start to slow down your breathing. It helps relax you, get you in a deeper state of relaxation and openness. So to see where you can start to elongate your breath. I find that I don't pay attention to my breath the majority of my day. When I do tune in, I find that not only am I shallow breathing in my chest, but my inhales and exhales are really rapid. And once I start to pay attention to that and see where I can elongate them and also bring them to my belly, it really helps instantly calm me down and relax me. So throughout your day tomorrow, just try to tune into your breath, even if it's just a couple times. Just see where you can relax, bring some calm and grounding to your day. And when you're ready, start to extend your left leg back to meet your right. You may want to windshield wiper your feet from side to side, just loosen up your low back. And when you're ready, we'll take that on the other side. So keep your left leg extended long. Start to slide your right knee up to meet your right elbow. And then you'll either take your gaze to your right fingertips and then close your eyes, or perhaps you'd like to take your gaze over to the left-hand side. If you need more of a inner thigh opening, you can tuck your toes, lift your hips on the left side, and bring them over about an inch or two, and then release back down. Again, this is your class, and each side is going to feel so different. So just see where you can start to open. I once had a yoga teacher tell me that our hips are like junk drawers in our house, and you just throw everything in there, and typically if you don't deal with stuff throughout the day or the week, it just continues to pile up. And so yoga, especially restorative or yin, really helps you clean that out, let it go, because we have to deal with what has been stored there, and a lot of the tension and stress that we carry just hangs out in our hip area. So this side is particularly tough for you. Just send some breath there. Just know that you're doing so much good for yourself by allowing that to finally release. We're halfway through. If you want to change the position of your gaze, take it over to the other side. Again, see where you can start to elongate your inhales and your exhales. And you just melt a little bit more into the mat. You have about 30 more seconds. Again, find what you still need in this posture, letting go of what you don't. Slowly on your next exhale, start to lengthen, straighten your right leg to meet your left. And then again, a few windshield wipers might feel good here. Loosen that back up. When you're ready, you'll just make your way to your back. Extend your left leg long. Bring your right knee in towards your right armpit. You'll just interlace your fingers to grab onto your shin. And this is just a transition before we take a twist. And just really let your whole spine touch down, ground your shoulders in. And on your exhale, if you could just bring your right knee in towards your right armpit a little bit more, just to get a really good stretch on this side. And flex your toes. You need a few moments here. And when you're ready, you can grab onto your right knee with your left palm. Start to twist over towards the left-hand side with your your left leg still extended. And the goal is to keep both of your shoulder blades onto the ground. So if you need to put something underneath your right knee, you can grab a pillow or a block of some sort to rest it on, just to allow your low back to open. If this is way too much of a deep twist for you, you can always bend your left knee to meet your right. And if your leg's extended, your arms will be fully out to a T shape, and then you can just start to take your gaze slowly over to your right fingertips. And once it's there, just softly close your eyes and allow yourself to really get into this twist. Twists are really good for detoxifying our body, allowing us to rinse and let something go. So just imagine that you're wringing something out, that you're leaving something behind, just like our frog pose. And use your breath here to really just allow a deep opening in your low back, and you should also feel it in your right IT band and hip area. So just see where you can open. We're halfway through this side. If you have not been paying attention to your breath, you can always bring your left palm to your belly. And just see as you inhale, does your hand even move? Or are you breathing all in your chest area? So start to bring some awareness to your breathing. And what I like to do is I will count how long my inhales and my exhales are, and I try to even them out. So typically we take a very short inhale, then we'll breathe out and it'll be a little bit longer, but just see if you can make them even and then also extend them by a count or two. So really start to slow down your breath. Two more rounds of breath here. Just let something go. Slowly on your next inhale, start to make your way back to center. Bring in your left knee just to rack your knees from side to side. Loosen up your low back. When you're ready, extend your right leg long. Wrap, interlace your fingertips around your left shin and start to slowly guide your left knee in towards your left armpit. Really get a nice hip opener before we move into this side. You can take any additional movements that you need. Perhaps you would feel good to roll out your ankle. So on your exhale, see if you can bring your knee in a little bit closer towards your armpit. Really getting into that hip. And on your time, when you're ready, grab onto your left knee with your right palm and just start to guide your knee over towards the right hand side. And again, you may need a prop on this side. You may have not needed one on the other side. But keep both of your elbows or your shoulders as anchored to the ground as you can. And you'll tee out your arms, and then you'll slowly start to make your gaze over towards your left fingertips. And then once they're there, just softly close your eyes. Again, if it's too much for you, this is your class. You do what feels right. So you can always bend your right leg so that both of your knees are bent over towards the right hand side. If extending your right leg is just a little bit too much on this side, just listen to your body. But once you've found a shape that you want to hang out in, just bring awareness back to your breath. Might feel good to bring your right palm to your belly for this side, just to, again, pay attention to your breathing and where you're at. My left side is always tighter for me, so this is extremely difficult. And I noticed right away, because my hand's on my belly, that I wasn't utilizing my breath. And as soon as I started to open that back up, I felt instant relief in my hip area. So if you haven't tried it, just see if it's something that you can explore. It really does help. We're halfway down this side. So again, just continue to hang out here, see if you can get a little bit deeper into your twist. Try not to fidget or take your mind off of what you're doing. Just really bring it back here. Two more rounds of breath on this side. Slowly, on your next inhale, start to make your way back to center. Again, you might want to just gently rock from side to side, grabbing onto your knees. On your next exhale, bring your soles of your feet together to touch, your knees out wide for supine butterfly. And you might want some props underneath your knees just to help bring them closer to the floor so they, as you open, you don't have to do as much work. And I do recommend bringing your palms to your belly if you can. Just again, pay attention to your breath here. And softly close your eyes if you haven't done so already. This pose is really great to get into our low back, to help really open up that whole back side of the body, but also the front side. And it also helps us tune into our breathing, see where we can soften in our bodies. So if this opening is just too much for you, you can bring some pillows or some blocks or even books if you have them nearby underneath your knees, just so that you have some support as you open. We're halfway through this posture. Try to remain still if you can. Opening postures can be difficult because we spend majority of our days so closed off by being hunched over, either on our computers, our phones, driving. So when we try to stay still and open, it can seem so difficult, just so vulnerable to be so open. So if you're finding it hard to relax, just again, tune into your breath. Know that by laying here and allowing the opening to happen, you're doing so much for yourself. On your next exhale, slowly start to close your knees back together like a book. Again, you want to sway gently from side to side, just loosen up your low back. You've got a yoga block or a pillow nearby, grab onto that. Plant your feet into the ground, and then on your next inhale, lift your hips up high enough just to get the prop underneath your low back or your sacrum area. You may need to wiggle a little bit to see if you've got it in the right spot. You can always test it out by lifting up your legs to the ceiling, and if you can be stable there, you know you've got it in the right spot. You'll just bring your legs back down if you've tried that out. And you can place your palms either facing down to get some grounding or on your belly, again, to pay attention to your breath. And if you have a yoga block, it has a couple different heights, and you can play around with that too, just to see what feels cozy for you. And just spend a few moments in supported bridge to close out before we go to our final resting shape. And bridge is so great because it just allows our heart to have a little bit of a break. So if you haven't been tuning into your breath, I highly recommend just spending a few minutes here, really starting to pay attention and seeing where you can slow it down. Will really help get you into a deep, relaxed spot. Two more rounds of breath here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, big open mouth, sigh out, let something go. On your next inhale, just ground down into your feet, lift your hips slightly off of the mat just to get the crap out of the way. Then bring your knees in towards your chest, grab onto the outer edges of your feet, and bring your knees in towards your armpits for happy baby. You may want to sway from side to side, or perhaps you're craving some stillness. And if you have any other postures that you're craving, that your practice is calling for, you can certainly take them now. But if you're ready to come to our final resting shape, or Shavasana, bring your knees in towards your forehead. And on your exhale, just extend out into a comfortable shape that feels good to you. If you have a wall nearby, I highly recommend doing legs up the wall. You can bring your bottom close to the wall and then extend your legs up the wall. If you want to just come out on your mat, you can bring your legs out to a wide V, and sometimes blocks or pillows underneath your knees really help you open up and relax there. And then your palms can either be on the floor facing the ground for some grounding, or again, you can bring them back to your belly. Just bring some awareness to the muscles in your face. Can you relax your jaw just a tiny bit? Can you roll your shoulders down your back? And just enjoy your rest. Shavasana is here for you as long as you have the time. You're in your own space. If you want to continue to rest, please tune out the sound of my voice and just enjoy your rest. But if you're ready to be guided out so that you can move on with the rest of your evening, start to bring some awareness back to your body. Perhaps you wiggle your fingers and your toes. And make your way to either side of your mat for a brief stop in fetal pose. Softly closing your eyes, thanking yourself for showing up on your mat tonight. And when you're ready, just take a gentle, easy seat, comfortable seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and softly close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And a big open mouth sigh out. Let something go. Breathe in something good, something that you need for your week. Breathe out something that you don't. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope you all sleep well and have a great rest of your evening. Namaste.